I also considered the popularity of bowling. Although I did it, ironically, you used the way that I did the last time we did this. I used a different method to determine popularity this time, which was I searched for bowling on YouTube. And the first videos that came up had like 100,000 views or so. That was like the most popular ones that popped up first. And from there I found like the Professional Bowling Association YouTube channel, which had 177,000 subscribers, and they got like 5 to 25,000 views on most of their videos. Like sort of, you know, they're like average videos, which is okay, but you know, definitely we could do some improving here. And I think I think my main goal here is to make bowling a more watchable spectator sport, right? And specifically in today's day and age, to make it much more internet friendly, because clearly that's the way that popularity is really measured now, is how, you know, popular things are on the internet. So what's popular on the internet? And there's really nothing more popular on the internet than animals. So for comparison, I went to the YouTube channel, The Dodo. Now, you probably know The Dodo because you've seen their videos pop up in your Facebook feed like 8,000 times at this point. They're all animal videos. They're very frequently very heartwarming because it's like someone who rescued a shelter dog who like wouldn't look at people in the eye, and they fed them pizza for 3 days and now they're best friends or something. I said that as a joke, but actually I'm pretty sure the last one that popped up in my Facebook feed was actually like someone who rescue a dog and fed him a hamburger the first night or something, so that's not even much of a joke.
That's how they get you. They tell the stories that already exist.
Yeah, well, there it is. So, but the Dodo, as opposed to the 177,000 subscribers of the Professional Bowling Association, has 6.5 million subscribers. And their most popular video, which is Dog Yoga, Pup is really happy to be in his mom's yoga workout, which is a 30-second long video that's exactly what it sounds. It's just like a Dalmatian that's all up in its owner's grill while she does yoga. Has just under 122 million views when I checked today.
Wow.
So what did you retire on? Well, I did yoga this one time. And for 30 seconds my dog bothered me. And then I never worked again.
So clearly what we've learned here is that the first rule of the internet is that adding animals to something makes people want to watch it more.
Note for the podcast.
I added animals to our podcast this time. I'm doing my part, guys. I don't know what you're doing.
I thought people liked sports.
I mean, I'm hitting all our bases, guys. Well, that was a different episode. Hey, anyway. But I'm going to figure out how many places can we shoehorn in animals into bowling. So, first thing we're going to do. What about those stupid, terrible little hand dryers that have the ends of bowling alleys, right? You know, the ones that like don't actually do anything, but you still use it for once in a while just to like feel cool?
I like using it because it feels cool.
Exactly, right?
Makes me feel like
useless.
a professional.
It's useless,
yeah,
but
it's what you do when you're just talking like, you know, trash talk. Be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a strike now that I've dried my hands.
Exactly, yeah. So I was trying to figure out how do we like generate wind like that, right? My first thought was a bird. Just like have a bird like flap its wings or something. For some reason, I couldn't find any numbers on like the wind force generated by a bird flapping its wings. I may have just been like Googling the wrong things, but I just kept getting, you know, articles explaining how birds fly, which involved wind, which didn't really meet my needs. So I went down other paths, and I eventually decided on what about dolphins. So it turns out dolphins can actually exhale air at up to 100 miles an hour.
Okay, we can do that too.
Well, not that fast. Wait, hold on.
It's called sneezing.
Okay, fine. Well,
sorry, didn't mean to. Gosh.
Well, I mean, gosh. It's funny you say that because also I saw that number. I was like, wow, that's a really big number. And it's going to be like some crazy number that was really insane. And I looked up how fast a Dyson Airblade hand dryer is. How fast would you guess the air from a Dyson Airblade hand dryer is? Those are the ones that like had a little slit that like sprays out like a sheet of air.
Okay, without the context of what we're talking about right now, I would guess 85 miles an hour.
That's kind of what I had in mind too, actually, when I first was like thinking about this whole thing. Turns out it's 420 miles per hour.
That seems irresponsible.
It seems irresponsible, but I've used those several thousand times and I still have my hands. So, okay, several thousand is probably an exaggeration, but a lot of times, and I still have hands. So clearly it's fine. It does seem like that is pretty fast for a hand air dryer. The ones I was seeing for like bathrooms generally these days are like 200 miles per hour, which is still clearly faster than a dolphin. To be fair, as we discussed, the blow dryers on a bowling lane are useless, so this is probably an improvement. So I'm going to say it still works.
You can find numbers for the actual bowling one?
I actually have a note that literally just says couldn't find any numbers for the actual bowling lane hand dryers. I really tried.
Do you think the air from a dolphin's blowhole would be at all moist?
So
You know what? Ignore that question. That's a bad question.
yeah,
Continue your answer.
we're gonna pretend that it's not. We're gonna pretend we can like dry them out. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Look, if you got dolphin boogers on your hands, you're just gonna stop using the dolphin hair blow dryer. Like you don't use the useless bowling one anyway.
Well, so you use the dolphin and then you use the bowling one to get the boogers off your hands. We got a system. So we have our blow dryer set. What about resetting the pens? And basically, resetting the pens is basically like one of those, like a block puzzle, right? We're like putting blocks into slots and stuff. You know who loves doing puzzles like that? Octopuses. Apparently, I know we talk about octopuses a lot on this show.
They don't have enough tentacles, though.
Wait, what?
They don't have enough tentacles. It's 10 pins.
Yeah, but I mean, like they can do it in 2 batches. It'll be fine.
It's inefficient.
It's more efficient
squids.
than most animals.
Yeah, it's about twice as efficient than the majority of animals.
I also like the idea that we replaced this robot designed to put pins back on octopus and had less efficiency somehow. How'd that happen?
I was literally just talking the other day with Sarah about how if I had the opportunity and the means, I would seriously consider giving up all my other hobbies just to raise an octopus.
I mean, they're really cool. And I've learned, so one of the things I learned when I was looking this up, mostly just look at videos of octopuses doing puzzles. I learned that apparently they actually, get unhappy if they don't get things like that to do with their minds. Like, they'll just get bored and start, acting out. So apparently it is something they'll enjoy doing. So it's, I feel a little better about enlisting them in resetting the pens to the bowling alley, since they'll probably actually enjoy it.
Then they'll lash out if you don't get any business.
Yeah, so there's, you got some problem there, but everyone's gonna want to come and play with the dolphins and octopuses and, do all that. You don't have to worry about that.
It is octopuses and not octopi, right? Wait, I think we
absolutely
confirmed that before.
Both. I think
No,
is it officially
is-
octopuses?
it's octopuses. There's some debate, but it's officially octopuses. I did a octopus themed board game brought to a convention where I met hundreds of people, and that was probably my most had conversation because I had octopus facts as part of my display, and I used the phrase octopuses, and people were like, "Isn't it octopi?" And I'm like, "No, actually." And I had a little more factoid there. I forget there's some origin somewhere, but it's octopuses is the correct one. If you're arguing about being semantic, which if you're talking about which way to pronounce octopus, you already are. It's octopuses. If you enjoy interacting with other human beings and want to continue doing that, let them say what they want.
But by the way, just quickly, when you started telling the story, I was so convinced you were going to say, I took this to the game to conventions and I met hundreds of octopus researchers, and they all talked about how it's octopus, it's not octopi.
I posed the same question to every single one.
Is it octopuses? And they said yes. Man, we're so all right. I guess since we're already on so many tangents anyway, my next point was actually also a tangent. I started just looking into animals solving puzzles and using tools in general. I'd already pretty much decided on octopuses because the tentacles would let them be faster than a lot of things, but I just want to know what my other options
8
were.
tentacles, 10 pins. It's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Math. But I did learn that apparently it's been scientifically shown that crows actually enjoy using tools. There was this study that was done where basically they had to figure out the idea was to figure out if they enjoy using tools. That wasn't the entire point of the study, which once again, science is buck wild and I love it. But the way they determined this, they basically had these crows and they would put them in a room with a box with food in it on either the left or the right side. And if it was on the left side, they would have a little small bit of food. If it was on the right side, it would have a bunch. And eventually the crows learned when, it was on the left side, it had a little food, on the right side it had a bunch, and they would go faster to the box when it was on the right side of the room because they knew that there would be more food there. And then what they started doing was, I guess also, to open the box, they'd either have them just open it with their beak, or they would get them a stick or something to open it with. And then what they started doing was putting the box in the middle of the room, so the crow didn't know if it would have a lot or a little food. And they would basically have them open the box without a tool or with a tool, and then when they brought them in to the room with the box in the middle, measure how long it took them to go up to the box to see how excited they were. Which is the most hilarious methodology I've ever heard, but they actually got like scientifically significant like results using it, where it took them, it was like 12 seconds to get to the box when they had just used a tool, and 23 seconds if they hadn't used a tool or something.
I just want to see the axis labeled crow excitement.
Right, it's very
Seconds.
good. It's science remains, the things that people get paid to investigate remain incredible to me, even, you know, however long into doing this podcast and looking at random ass research all the time. You know, it's pretty incredible. Anyway, point being, apparently a lot of animals actually just do enjoy solving puzzles and using tools, which is kind of cool. I like that. That's nice. Fun little fact I learned. Anyway, back to bowling, because we've been away from that for like 5 minutes now. So we have our blow dryer, we have our pen resetting, and I realized that we're running out of things involved in bowling. There's not that much that goes into bowling. I considered like having something return the ball, but it was just going to be like something throwing the ball back, and it just wasn't really. It was like, yeah, a gorilla throws the ball back. Yay. I guess you can do that. That's fine, whatever. But it's not really, you know.
Have like a monkey carry it back, then you get to interact with the monkey.
Yeah, like but it's like, it's still kind of, you know, there's limits there.
An elephant picks up with his trunk and throws it to you.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still, yeah. It's like, obviously, it's not bad.
Another person bowls it back to you.
Point being, we have to go bigger, which is where I started looking into actually replacing the ball with an animal. So, the reason I actually went down the animal path to begin with is that originally we were supposed to talk about turtles on this episode. I just want to talk about turtles some. But then I decided that sliding turtles at bowling pins was probably not very good, because they're not going to be able to get fast enough on their own, because turtles are notoriously slow.
The problem is you just set them up on the line and they don't go anywhere.
Right, they just like, you know.
That's the problem with this plan.
Point being, it was either going to take a very long time, be ineffective, or feel cruel. So I wanted an animal that would actually propel themselves into the ball, but still be relatively bowling ball-like. I somehow didn't think of armadillos, and now I'm very sad.
Wait, you just had that realization right now.
I did. That's kind of embarrassing, actually. Probably should have been armadillos. Anyway.
It's probably also still cruel to throw an armadillo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess armadillos don't, like, run and roll themselves into balls and anything aside from cartoons, so it's probably still cruel. Point being, what I did instead was penguins. Because penguins, they don't move very fast when they're walking, because they kind of, you know, just waddle around. But to move quickly, what they'll do is what they'll call tobogganing, where they just throw themselves onto their bellies and slide. And apparently, not only is it a faster way to move down hills and stuff, they also just really like doing it. It's, once again, they just, like, do it for funsies, apparently, which is adorable. So I figure now, you have... It's also, very conveniently now, very, you know, aquarium themed. You have dolphins, octopuses, penguins. That's all the animals I've mentioned, but they're all aquatic. And you kind of have this like, aquarium bowling alley situation, where you have penguins who are actually the balls, who I don't know if you, like...
Yeah, then what are you doing?
So, I couldn't decide if the penguins run and toboggan themselves, or you, like... hold them by the belly and, like, swing them out onto the lane.
They hold on to a rope and you spin them around yourself and you let go.
That does seem very fun. It seems also not great, but you can figure it out. Point being, penguins like sliding, they'll be down for this, and a penguin can go into bowling pins, they'll be fine.
Okay, here's how you actually do the penguins. There is a slide, like, the top of the thing is a slide, so they get some speed. And the way you throw the penguin is you get a little fish and you throw it on the slide at the place where you want the penguin to go for it.
So that actually...
And the penguin chases the fish, and then boom.
That actually leads into my other idea that was not aquatic themed, so I decided to go with this one instead, which was your, I guess, ball is just a tennis ball, and your actual ball that has the pins is a golden retriever. And you just throw the tennis ball towards the pins, and however many balls the golden retriever knocks down while getting the tennis ball is how many pins you knock down. You're probably going to get a lot of strikes.
That's also hilarious.
Yeah.
It's very good. But I had to go with the aquatic theme once I realized the possibility for it. But golden retriever bowling is very good.
Yeah, there's also definitely no upper limit on how many times a golden retriever will dopely run into the same pins.
Oh no, it's going to happen so many times, yeah.
That was a clip from Absurd Hypotheticals, the podcast where we answer dumb hypothetical questions. For the full episode, click on the link in the description.